Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar, Elevating the Customer Experience, Analytics and Quality Monitoring Innovations Shaping the Future of Contact Centers. Just going to give a couple of more seconds for a few more to join. But again, welcome all and excited to be with you. Okay. I think we've got a good group here, and I know I saw all the registrations, so I think we've got a good number of participants. I'll start kicking it off with myself. Again, hello all, my name is Michael Hutchison. I'll be your moderator today. I work for eClerx, a trusted innovation partner to some of the world's top brands and companies. For those of you who aren't familiar with eClerx, basically have 4 business units: customer operations, financial markets, digital marketing, and then technology, which really has some great standalone products. Everything from customer experience management, QA, field tech ops at the largest MSOs, to driving end-to-end digital marketing for top luxury brands, high-tech companies, competitive intelligence, delivering essential KYC work to some of the most prestigious investment banks. Anyhow, a myriad, and that's just a sample of the sort of tailored and customized solutions that we offer our valued partners across multiple locations. I personally co-lead the customer operations side of the house, but really think that's enough of me and the company. I'd like to, again, very heartfelt thank you all for taking the time today. We have a great and diverse mix of companies across many different industries signed up, and I'm sure it's going to be an enriching session, understanding business trends, and then great to see both what the industry and eClerx are building solutions specifically to enhance the customer experience for greater compliance, employee experience, and really, as I say, compliance in a more stringent and demanding regulatory environment. So secondly, love to introduce my fellow panelists here. David Ricard, a industry leading analyst and partner at Everest Group. Known David for many years, as he in a previous life used to run one of the most globally complex partner engagements, I think, for a large tech company, as well as our very own Sanjay Kukureya, who heads our head of technology, and I see is dressed up for the occasion, not wearing his favorite Metallica t-shirt today. But anyway, I don't know, gents, if you'd like to expand a little bit on your backgrounds and introduce yourselves. David?
Yeah, thanks, Michael. Yeah, hi, everybody. I'm David Ricard. As Michael said, I'm a partner at Everest Group. And Everest Group, we're a research firm who really focus on the IT BPO industry. And my specialist area is focused on customer experience management and trust and safety and marketing services. I've been around the industry for 25 plus years. I've been at Everest Group for nearly 4, was in consulting for many years, or a few years before that. And then also, as Michael said, I actually worked at Microsoft, where our paths crossed, and I led the consumer outsourcing business, which was around 16,000 agents globally, covering 46 languages. So been around the contact center world for a long time, and I really see quality as being a key part of that, and what we're doing with technology is really exciting. So glad to be here today, giving you a view of the industry. So on that, I'll pass over to Sanjay.
Thanks, David. Thank you, Michael. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, based on where you're joining us today from. My name is Sanjay. I've been with the firm for close to 13 years, based out of Mumbai, India. I lead what we call technology and analytics practice. It's a combination of everything that we do in software, infrastructure, data and analytics, on the data and analytics side. during the session, we'll talk about the products. Michael mentioned the fact that we also build application solutions, which we then partner with our clients and show our capabilities. And CX is a big focus area. So would love to talk about what we built and what we've deployed for our clients. Back to you, Michael.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Sanjay and David. So what are we going to talk about today? Our agenda here is roughly broken up into 4 sections. Firstly, we're going to talk about really what the industry is seeing, what Everest is seeing, some of the insights they can share in terms of the trends impacting customer experience. Then we're going to sort of bring it down a level, get more granular in terms of those challenges and demands and how to address those through technology and analytics in particular, to not only, again, drive that CX, EX, but greater compliance. Then we'll have the great Shama from Sanjay's team do a brief demo on 2 of eClerk's proprietary tools, QA360 and Insights on Demand, which really address some of those needs. Then sort of to wrap it all together, we'll do a couple of, case studies on real life client examples, bringing together the tangible benefits and the sort of return on investment that some of our valued customers have seen. I am hoping, but we'll have some time for Q&A. So please do remember to enter your questions on your consoles or chat, and we'll do our best to address those live today with you. And even if we have to run over a little, we will, for those of you who can stay on. And worst case, we'll follow up offline. If you can leave your contact details, we can definitely get back to you. So anyway, let's get started with some of the key concerns, challenges, opportunities facing the customer experience industry. Really the why we're here today, right? Unfortunately, we continue to see reports of degrading CX scores coupled with more, I'd say, demanding and informed consumers. David, love for you to share, if you can, some of your recent findings of what Everest is observing in the broader industry. What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, thanks, Michael. So yeah, what you can see on the screen is a summary of our key issues study that we do every year. And we did it at the beginning of this year, and we'll be doing it again at the beginning of next year, which talks to about 400 to 500 enterprise leaders, normally C-suite -1 or C-suite and -2, as well as a smattering of C-suite as well, where we really ask them about what their key business priorities are going into the year. And we believe actually these have been consistent throughout the year. And excuse me, I should have mentioned in my introduction, I am struggling with a cold, so if I sound a bit odd, apologies for that in advance. But what we've seen is from the top business priorities is that number 1 is cost optimization, which probably is no surprise to anybody on this call. But actually is one of the first times that people are actually being so open about really trying to drive down cost. But what we are seeing is that that's being combined, and very close second is revenue growth. So we've coined the term doing more with less, which is not that innovative as a term, but actually what we've seen this year is people are trying to really drive down their cost as well as drive up more revenue. So doing that more with less. But for those of us who have got a CX background, who probably most of us on this call, is that customer experience improvement actually has now reached one of the top 5 issues for businesses. So it's always obviously been a top issue for CX leaders. It's the first time it's really reached sort of the forefront of people's minds in terms of business. And I think that really links also to number 5, which is people are really trying to enhance their brand reputation as well. So what we've seen is that real focus in terms of cost optimization, revenue growth, customer experience. People are looking for ways to address those. And as we see, analytics is one of those areas that we're seeing as a key focus area. Because we move on, actually, if we look at the next level of data that we have on the next slide, what we've seen is there's also going to be an increase in spend. So we also asked the audience in terms of, we asked these of CX leaders, so specifically for CX, how do you see your spending trending in 2024? And what you can see from the slide is that 43% of the enterprises plan to actually increase their CXM spending by 5 to 20% compared to the previous year, as they are really seeing that customer experience is now a key differentiator to their business. And we all know that the companies that have got the best customer experience often have the best business results. But also, if you invest in the right areas, you can actually drive down your cost in customer experience as well, and you can drive up your revenue. So it moves everybody from that dreaded cost center to the profit center that everyone's striving for, whilst also driving up your customer loyalty and your customer satisfaction. So that's why there's an increase in spend. And if we look at the next slide, where that spend's actually going to be, what we see is that people are starting to talk about, to drive these levers that they've identified, technology modernization and upgrade is the priority, or number one priority, because people are left with a lot of tech debt out there. There is a lot of legacy technology that people are struggling. People are getting really excited about the new technologies like generative AI that are out there in the market, that people are trying to adopt, but don't necessarily have the right infrastructure in place to be able to really leverage that technology. So there's a real focus around how do we modernize our technology in the CX space. But secondly, and the real focus for today is around data analytics and insights, and how you really utilize those to drive business value. So we'll be talking a lot more about the data analytics piece as we go. But then interestingly, third is around process optimization, operational efficiency. So again, that's where technology can play a real part. But number four, which doesn't feel like it's really a technology play, and it isn't, but it is around building the right partnerships and alliances. And we are seeing a real appetite from enterprises to be working with the right technology players, the right service providers who've got the right technology ecosystem and the right technology offerings to really try and drive that customer experience improvement whilst controlling the costs. And that's really where the focus is. And then lastly was around talent acquisition, development and retention, because we know that people need to start thinking about where the talent's going to be for the future. As we do use technology to reduce and eliminate contacts, what's going to be left is more complicated, and you need to think about where the right talent is going to be acquired from and how you develop the existing talent you've got. So these are the key levers that we're seeing people leverage to really try and go after those cost optimization, revenue growth, and customer satisfaction improvement goals. If we look at the next slide, yeah, and it is, Michael. I mean, I think that it is one of those areas that we're seeing that people are really focused on. How do we leverage the technology, but not forgetting that actually humans are still going to play a massive part in the contact center industry moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just interjecting for a second, I think as we're mentioning, it's not only how we use the technology and analytics from CX perspective, but how critical EX is as well, the employee experience throughout this. So I fully agree with you on that point, and great to see you're seeing that across as well here.
Yeah, and definitely, I mean, I think a lot of the technology investments are all about making it easier for the agent as well. So you improve EX, you improve CX, it's a win-win for everybody. So that's definitely the area that's focused. And then when we think about top CX analytics being implemented, we see it across sort of 5 areas. So definitely workforce optimization. So being able to analyze what's going on with the workforce. How do you get the best out of the people that you've got? Obviously, customer analytics is vital, understanding customer sentiment and the reason your customers are contacting you, how happy they are. Speech and text analytics, which has been around for a while, but really is becoming really important as you start thinking about, well, how do you use this technology to even start to improve quality assurance by being able to monitor a lot more contacts, moving from the 3 contacts per agent per month to 100% of contacts monitored, especially in regulated industries, can be really important. So really using it in that speech and text analytics area. Customer journey analytics, really understanding where your customer comes into the journey, where they leave the journey, where the pain points are. And we're even seeing that people are using generative AI to be able to make that customer journey a lot more flexible and actually change it on the fly by using a combination of analytics and generative AI to really be able to make that journey really seamless for the customer, which again is going to add to their loyalty. It's going to make them happier. They're going to buy more. And then lastly, it's around desktop and agent analytics. So providing at the desktop the agent with the right tools, the right analytics, know how they're performing, the data that they need to be presented with to provide the right service to the customer. So real focus in terms of a number of specific areas, because analytics, as we talk about, is a very big term. There are specific services that we're seeing that are really coming to the fore.
Excellent. Really appreciate that, David, and fully agree. I think technology is critical for correlating, I would say, all aspects of the CX journey and sort of stitching it all together, impacting the customer satisfaction. I think what we've seen is there's so much data out there, but unfortunately, it's either only sampled or not taken fully advantage of, or don't have the resources really to fully leverage that, right? I don't know, Sanjay, from an e-clerk's perspective, what have you seen, in terms of the whole ecosystem and how we're seeing technology and analytics play a part?
No, Michael, I think I kind of agree with whatever you talked about and what David covered. I think given the gamut of all that data that is available today, and with all the cool technology which is available today around generative AI, it's become much easier to analyze those data sets and drive insights. And it's good we're talking about both CX and EX. It's not just that we're restricted to CX. And this slide here, Michael, primarily covers what are the key KPIs that you would like to track, or which kind of helps drive your CX journey. And that's where gathering those data sets, building those data pipelines, analyzing those data, running models so that you can make sense out of that data, and then presenting it back in a form which can be consumed by our clients becomes very critical. So if you take CSAT as an example, which is at the center of all the analysis that you want to run, or it's the key metrics you want to focus on, there are sub metrics around churn, NPS prediction, voice of customer, customer lifetime value, which kind of become sub bullet points, which feed to the CSAT KPI. And given the fact that you have multiple sources of data that are available, you have organizations today have structured way of gathering inputs and data from their customers, and there are a lot of unstructured way also from getting that data. And it could be websites, forums, blogs, wikis, social media responses. There are, on the structured side, there are proper referral programs that organizations run today. We've seen a lot of organizations where we work, which we support, running campaigns to collect a lot of data. There is internal data that gets generated out of calls, tickets that come in, and all that data, helps you track, what is going to be the predictive NPS score that you're going to get out of the interaction that you're doing with your customer. When would you end up losing the customer? What would be the churn rate for the customer? How long, and what is the value you can derive from each interaction that you have with your customers. So that's kind of doing a customer 360 analysis, collecting all the data, figuring it out, all the interactions that you've done with the customer, and trying to lengthen that life cycle that you have with the customer. And then, how do your agents interact with your customer, as well as agents interacting within the organization? That's where the EX angle comes in. And as you know, Michael, we've been working with our clients in all these areas. We have applications. Shama is going to talk about QA 360, which is our auto QA, cognitive application, which kind of helps ingest various data sources, transcribes, and then run a quality score on that. So that's a tool we're going to talk about, which kind of helps track a lot of these metrics, and suggest which are the best ways to interact with your client. So it's not just analysis; it's also a coaching tool that we have. Plus, Shama is going to talk about insights on demand, which is our basically dashboard on steroids. It's kind of helps pull in any sets of data that you have, generates real-time graphs and charts. So I think we have a good discussion lined up on how we can map and support our clients on all these parameters, and also to the point that David mentioned, make sure that we are current with the advancements that are happening on the CX side.
Yeah, and I think the other piece which on this slide is, the NPS prediction I really like as well. It's not just being reactive, predictive, but proactive as well. Now with the
Right.
NPS prediction, I know we've done this for a few of our clients where, building up a team to be responsive before you get a negative score out there, right? And being able to respond timely fashion. Thank you very much for that. I think that sort of wraps up really where we are on why we're here, what we're seeing. We're going to move on to really, how do we address that really? What technology and analytics, what are the new innovations out there from an industry perspective, firstly, and then from eClerc's position. So, David, would you run us through what you're seeing, and then hopefully, Sanjay, you can correlate this with what we're doing at eClercs as well.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. So one of the things that we've seen is that there are sort of 5 key areas that we're really seeing the innovations in analytics being. Obviously, there's a lot of innovation across the CX tech space, but a couple of areas really. So real-time agent assistance, so providing an agent with real-time personalized responses. That's definitely an area we're seeing a lot of interest in, because that can help the agent give a much better response, but also reduce average handle time, which then affects the cost. So you hit, again, a couple of the priorities that we were talking about earlier. Conversation BI, so really being able to actually ask the business intelligence, which has often been hard to get information out of, in a much more conversational way to actually get the business insights you want. So being able to ask it the right business questions to get the insights that you need, because that's often been a bit of a science that actually now can be a bit more user friendly and actually gives people on the floor a lot more access to data that they can then leverage to drive the customer experience. We know the importance of customer data platforms, to being able to collect and analyze and unified customer data, especially as we start seeing the marketing, sales, and customer service value chains coming closer together, where you want to treat your customer in one holistic journey. Having a real sort of cohesive CDP is going to be vital to being able to drive that one view of the customer. We've been talking about a 360-degree view of the customer forever. We're starting to get there now. Context and sentiment analysis, I think that goes back to that predictive NPS as well. So being able to understand what is the sentiment of the customer, where are there going to be levels of dissatisfaction, and how can you proactively intervene? And then AI-powered quality assurance. So we touched on that earlier as well. So really being able to look at how is the agent performing, be able to make actionable interventions early on versus doing wait till the end of the month, tell them they've had a really bad month. You can actually do it in real time. That stops problems from getting worse and can really change the customer experience as well. So these are sort of 5 areas in terms of the innovations that we're seeing in analytics. We move on to the next slide. What we also see is that the richer insights that these bring, and definitely leveraging generative AI, means that you can actually bring things such as an enhanced data processing capability. So by leveraging Gen AI on top of traditional analytics, you actually be able to get better data, larger volumes of data processed, and actually put out in a way that are much easier to consume. You can also, as I was talking about earlier, drive that personalized customer experience. So if you can analyze the data in real time, Gen AI can help to predict the preferences of the customer, and you can start to tailor the journeys that they're experiencing. That's really going to help as we think about hyper-personalized services. So generative AI has a real big part to play on top of the analytics tools that have been around for years. Sentiment analysis and emotion recognition we've touched on, proactive customer support, but really being able to reach out to customers if you sense early signs of dissatisfaction. It may be the fact they're not using the product as much. It can be that they've made lots of searches on your web page, but you've not actually heard a call. Is that a sense that they're unhappy with the product they've got? Can you proactively reach out? We know then that increases loyalty, that will increase your revenue, and actually also reduces your cost, because you're not losing customers, because keeping a customer is much cheaper than acquiring a new one. And it will also drive up customer satisfaction. And then lastly, operational efficiency. So leveraging Gen AI, we see it a lot in things like agent assist, after call work, but in the analytics space, really thinking about how you can use that for data analysis to really be, and again, identify those operational efficiencies you need to drive, which then again is going to hit one of those goals, which is cost reduction, as well as customer satisfaction improvement and revenue growth. So generative AI is transforming analytics, taking it to the next level. It's always been a valuable tool. It's becoming even more important as we bring these new technologies on top of them. And if we move to the next slide, Thank you. One of the real areas it's expected to play. So this came from another survey we did asking enterprises, okay, where do you expect analytics to have an impact on your business? 74% of the respondents said they expect it to improve their customer experience metrics. So we touched on how important that is. 66% have said about growing their revenues. 60% have said driving efficiency improvements. You've also then got reducing operational cost, robust compliance and risk management. That's key, especially in regulated industries. And then also influencing the business and product strategy. So giving insights back to the business about where the problems are and where the key features and benefits may be to then be able to influence the product. So a lot of stuff there. Move back to you now, Michael, but really we're seeing analytics as being that key driver for achieving some of those business objectives when it's, especially when it's empowered with generative AI.
Yeah, very impressive stats there, David. Sanjay, I know we have also been building an impressive suite of products which sort of correlate with the findings that Everest have here. You want to tell us a little bit about those products that we pulled together and how they correlate with these 5 key areas?
Absolutely, Michael. And it's good to see, what David talked about. I think we are on the same line, we are on the same track. And, we are kind of working towards that same vision. So I'll pick up the 5 things that, David mentioned, which are very critical and which is the focus area for most of the discussion that we are doing with our clients and prospects. The first time is the real-time agent assist. So that's when an agent is picking up a chat or a voice call. That agent should be able to respond back to the customer with the correct information in near real-time basis. And as David was talking about, with the power of generative AI, now you can query through structured, unstructured databases at the back and pull out the relevant material that you can share with the customer. So you're not just restricted to structured data sets. You have access to your internal wikis, blogs, your knowledge databases, KDBs, where you can pull out documents, you can pull out analysis, you can pull out latest issues, and can share it with the customers. And this is not just chat. I'm saying voice also, because with voice you have one step of transcription. That transcription happening on real-time basis, and then you querying structured, unstructured data sets and responding back. So to David's point, with Gen AI, conversational bots, the power of conversational bots has become phenomenal, and that's where our product CareOps, which we have deployed with a couple of our clients, is the one which is in the forefront and trying to make sure that we are up ahead on this in this new area of real-time assist. The second point that David talked about was conversational BI. So we call it insights on demand, which is, you have your data sets. You don't want to go back to your IT team and, ask them, hey, I want a different view of this data. Can you help create a new dashboard for me? Or can you help, create a view where I can drill down this data? So Insights on Demand as a platform that we have, which we've deployed at our clients, you can connect as many data sets at the back. And Shama is going to show you that product. And you can write queries, which are like English conversations, and help pull out graphs, charts. And no, it just does not help just pulling out those data sets as well as graph charts. It also gives you next level prompts on that data set, which you can do from a drill down perspective. So if you, let's say, pulled out customer revenue data, and you can see there's fluctuations in customer revenue, it will help you generate what kind of next level drill downs for those sets where you have fluctuating revenue you should ask, and you can kind of do second level drill down. So as I said, it's very powerful platform. It's a big way where people have pivoted from the older world of doing BI, traditional BI and reporting, and now everything is on conversational BI, as David mentioned. The third point was on CDP. So that's our platform, which is a Synapse, which is getting the customer 360 view, and this platform analyzes all the interactions that you have with the customer. So it is across websites, across chats that you run, voice, connecting it with the with the voice switch, pulling in those records. So making sure you collate all the interactions across all modes, including social media, to pull in the data, as well as you have all the previous history with the customer, all the buying patterns of the customer, all the data, all the purchases of the customer, all the issues that have been logged from the customer side. So whenever your agent gets in front of the customer, that agent has a complete 360 view of the customer. So that's also a very big area where we're working, and we have a couple of good projects going on with clients. David talked about GenAI infused quality. So we have a QA 360 platform. Again, I'm not going to steal Shama's thunder. She's going to demo the product. But Michael, you've been involved in a lot of discussions which we've done, and a lot of places where we've gone ahead and deployed QA 360. It's a very matured offering from eClerx. Customer interaction monitoring is something which we've been doing for more than, I would say, 12 to 15 years now. We've worked with large MSOs. So this entire area has now pivoted to completely being on generative AI, where you can do transcriptions, you can do diarization, you can do sentiment analysis, you can do behavioral analysis, and to the point, you can use it also as a coaching tool. You can extract the best calls, best interactions out of the tool, and create something which we call, in our parlance, a call clip library, which can be used for agent training. So it's not only analysis, auditing, as well as it's a agent training platform also. And context and sentiment analytics is part of our QA 360 offering. So in the next section, Michael, about this. We're going to show these products. So I'm again not going to steal Shama's thunder. You can move ahead.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the only other thing I love about QA 360, and I know a lot of our, it's been great for us to also see different industries and be able to participate, is really industry agnostic, isn't it, Sanjay? I mean, really, we've done it with large pharma companies in the US to Canadian MSO to technology company from Korea. Really a product which crosses over any vertical. So it's a great product, and I clearly think one of our differentiators at eClerx. You want to speak just high level about the architecture of our products, and then we can move on to doing the demo quickly with Shama.
I think we're running slightly behind on time. So I'll do a quick 30 seconds on the architecture, and I'll then hand it over to Shama to run the demo. So three main platforms. CareOps is our conversational bot platform. So that's where the platform has the ability to query structured, unstructured data sets, and do the real-time agent assist also. So that's where the interaction starts for any organization. Once the interaction is completed, then you have the QA 360 platform, which is the auto QA, the quality audit platform. That's where the transcription happens, speech to text happens, the auto QA scoring framework scores the call. There is predictive NPS that comes out of at the end of the scoring, and it has that entire RTR framework, which is for interacting back with the agents, as well as a call clip library, which is like the knowledge database on the best interactions. And then insights on demand, we spoke about which kind of feeds, pulls in all the data sets out of the QA 360 as well as CareOps, and runs conversational BI on top of the data. Michael, I think you can move ahead.
Yeah, I think now we move on to the actual demos. I know, Sanjay, briefly, if you can give us, the quick points in terms of, what it does, benefits, etc., and then we'll see the demos. Obviously, everybody online can read through this, but high level, what are key features?
Yeah. So as we've talked about, QA 360 is our cognitive QC platform. It's the one where you can ingest any form of data sets, could be voice, text, data setting out of forms, social media, pull in, do the transcription. It has a scoring framework. And as I also mentioned earlier, it has a repository where you can kind of extract the best calls from a training perspective. I would say from a benefits perspective, it's a fairly end-to-end tool. It uses the latest and greatest out of the generative AI feature, and it has APIs which you can use to connect to your internal data sources. Could be places where you keep where any organization would be storing with the chat platform, as well as with the switch to pull in the call data. So Shama, with this, I'll hand it over to you if you can walk through the demo, and then we go to the IoT. Shama, you are on mute. Sorry.
Thank you, Sanjay. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So thanks, Sanjay. And yes, let's have a look at how is it that we are making this magic happen, right? So quickly while I log in to the actual tool, which is like a web interface that we have here of QA360, let me also quickly make a note on what is it that we are trying to achieve here, right? As Sanjay did mention about how is it that we are contributing in, two different contact centers, in doing the interaction or call audits, right? So when we log in, this is what the users would see. Now these users could be auditors, it could be leads, it could be managers. The moment we log in, since it's a web interface, the moment we log in, we come onto this landing page. There are two sections. The one which is on the left-hand side, it talks about different ways of uploading the media files. Now there could be an automated way of uploading the media file here. It could be, via SFTP as well, which is a more secured way of uploading it. Or it could be direct upload as well. Let's say, for example, if I, as an auditor, would like to, look out for a particular call or a particular interactions, this is where I could go ahead and upload those files, right? It could be call, it could be chat, it could be, even audio, video files, etc. What you see on the right hand side is about already ingested, media files, and we'll have a look at it. What happens, right? What really happens when we do the auditing of it. Now, as the industry norm is that, the sampling of all the call audits happen. However, the objective that we are driving here with QA360 is that we would like to then go ahead and do the 100% audits of all the interactions which happens, right? So where does it happen and how does it happen? Let's have a quick look at that as well. Whatever we saw on the previous screen, those media files have now been, listed here. They have been stacked in a, with an interaction ID, which means that identified with an identifier there, to see that each of these calls are now segregated and you can actually have a look at it. As an auditor, normally what would happen, right, is that they would pick up some of the calls randomly and they would start looking at, okay, what went wrong with the interaction between an agent and the caller and what did not. However, with this tool, what you can do is that for each of these interactions, you can look at, who uploaded it, who was the agent, who was the manager, what was the duration, and the best part is the predicted NPS, which means on the real-time basis, all the interactions will be then checked for the NPS prediction. Before even the call ends or just before the call ends, you would still be able to get what is it that the customer is going to be scoring us as, right? What is going to be the CSAT? Along with that, we would also be getting the customer sentiment, which means that whether the customer was happy, unhappy, passive, promoter, detractor, etc. And plus, there is going to be an overall score there as well, which means these scores are based on the parameters which, as an organization, the customers would have set up as. Let's have a look at what it would do, right? And as an auditor, say for example, if I had to do the role play, as an auditor, I would just look out for something which is quite odd. That is, I of course this is great to see that there are a lot of promoters that we see here. However, as an auditor, I would like to see what is a detractor, what is happening here. We would like to understand why is it the call is not really, the customer is not really happy. All I have to do is click on it, and I will come to a page that will give me an entire breakdown of the conversation which happened. It would talk about what was the call about, when did it happen, what was the sentiment that was driven, along with the summary of it, right? What happened? Why did it happen? Why was the customer frustrated? What was the end result of it, right? Whether the customer was happy at the end of it or not. Along with that, the interaction overview you will get the customer sentiment even at the call level, which means that you will literally able to find out at which minute did the interaction go south. Along with that, you will also get the screen grab of the agent who's talking there, transcripts, entire transcripts. Where did it go wrong? What was it that wasn't leaving a good taste for the customer? How did the call end, right? Whether the customer was pacified at the end of the call or not, etc. And the scoring, of course, the one that we just saw, right? Overall score. The 30 is the overall score. And how did that score come from here? These are the different parameters which has been set, right? Now, great thing is that these parameters can also be set and reported in different formats. But let me just quickly show you how can you go ahead and quickly set these parameters as well, right? What you see on the screen is where I can actually go and set up the parameters. We can delete them, we can change them, we can find out what really happened. We can change the compliances, whether those are the scorecard sections which are correct or not. We can go ahead and change items here as well. Different kind of questions could be asked. What kind of questions could not be asked, and how is that the call is getting scored precisely, right? Along with that, we are also able to see the call clips that Sanjay was mentioning about. Remember the place where we can actually go ahead and see what were the best examples of such interactions, right? Imagine, I as a agent or I as an auditor would like to see that, okay, what would be the best way of, closing a call or starting a call, right? And here is where we are literally keeping all the libraries of best way to start the call, strong finish, overcoming objections, including the different industries, plus the soft skills, plus the call types, etc. Right? So these are the places wherein the agents or auditors can actually go and see what is it that it should have been done. Right? Apart from that, there is one more important feature, which is something that our customers have loved it, and that's called request to review. What does that do? Let's have a look at that as well. So request to review is as good as I, as an auditor, if I have audited a call and said that, hey, this particular agent did not perform really well. He should have done this 1, 2, 3, 4 things, but he has not been able to do that. In that case, what would I do? What would the customers do? Well, they would go ahead and have an option of checking these interactions as well. And the customer could come back to us and say, Shama, the audit that you have done, we do not agree with it. Reason being, you have scored the agent in ABC manner, or whether the agent was able to perform a particular activity or not. But we do not agree with it. Why? Because these were the situation, XYZ was the reason, hence blah blah blah, right? If that happens, in such cases, this is the interface wherein the customer can go ahead and tell us that, okay, we would like to push this back. Let us review this again. And we could then do a collaboration on this as well, right? So this is the interface wherein we are giving it to the customer as a feedback loop. So that's one of the great feature that we have. And of course, there is something on the calibration side as well, which means that we are also giving a provision for our agents to start doing the trainings here itself, which means that I, as an auditor, if I go ahead and tell that a particular agent did not perform very well, I could, as an auditor, suggest that particular agent to go through a couple of trainings, right? With a precise reason. So these are going to be like a focused training, focused coaching can be given to the agents as well. You can actually set them up and automatically it will be tracked the moment the agents would go ahead and do the analysis and the trainings, etc. So these were a couple of features that we wanted to talk about. And not, last but not the least is the performance tracking, right? And let's have a look at it. So this is the one, the interface that we have on the performance tracking part of it. The moment I filter out the calls, then I'm loading the information for past few months. And if you see, the entire dashboard lights up with all the numbers which has been fed as part of the media files in the past. Audio numbers, audio files, video interactions, overall call quality, the survey, predicted NPS, is everything is getting listed here as well. Total number of calls taken, agents, how many minutes, etc. And another something which we do not see a lot in our day-to-day interactions with the platform is that the auto fails, right? This is the place where our Gen AI model is able to find out and flag the discussions which would have happened between an agent or agent and the caller, which could be flagged as an unaccepted one, right? So it's more like a non-tolerance related compliance that we are ensuring that are being flagged here as well. If we come down, there are different parameters which are being tested there as well. FCR, which business unit, calls handled, etc., etc. Not just that, but even the agent-wise ranking is being performed here as well. And of course, everything that you saw so far is customizable. Why? Because this is a homegrown tool that we have. The entire platform is something which has been hosted by eClubs. It's an intellectual property that we have. Hence, everything that you see on the screen is customizable, configurable for all our customers to have a look at. Right?
Brilliant. Thank you, Shama. And
sure.
I know it is a great product, and I've seen our customers really value it. And we'd love to offer up a more in-depth demo for anybody who'd like to do so. We're running a little bit tight on time, so we'll try and speed up a little bit. Insights on plans. Sanjay, you want to go over high level, any key notes? I think maybe you can talk to them as we're doing the demo better, instead of spending too much time.
Let's go to the demo.
Absolutely. Let me just quickly do this but as well. And I would love to show you the kind of new features that we have built in here as well. So we proudly and very fondly call this particular tool as the data interrogation tool. The reason being, this is a tool wherein we are able to ingest data in a real fast way without doing any special ETL and data warehousing related activities. And with those, just by ingesting the data, just by giving away a few configuration and fine tuning, within a week's time, you can have a ready dashboard available with you. What you see on the screen is an automatrix dashboard, which means that just by looking at the data, the Gen AI itself is coming up with an automated list of analysis. Everything that you see is been created by Gen AI. Also, you could have your traditional way of building your own dashboards, which means that you can pin any of the dashboard, any of the analysis, any of the reports. You can pin them, you can unpin them, etc. as well. And you could go ahead and create your own dashboards too, just by asking questions, right? A lot of feedbacks is what we've received, wherein all the customers have liked some of the features like sharing the conversations with each others as well, which means that internally, in an organization level, you can go ahead and share all your analysis that you have done, right? But the best parts come here, right? Here is where you can go ahead and actually ask question in a very natural human-like language. and you can get the answers in a graphical manner with all the data. And the most important part is data insight. So let me just type one question just to give you a gist, and then we'll move on to the next topic. The data that I have fed in, just for your information, the data that I have fed in here is about campaign analytics. So the question that I will ask is somewhere related to the campaign analytics. Let me ask one simple question saying that, hey, show me the channel-wise orders. So what it does is that it's going to be then checking the data in the background. Look how fast it is, coming up with the answers there as well. So what it is going to do is that in the background, it will now check the numbers, how many orders are getting created, for which channels, etc. And then it is bringing up the data in the graphical format. What you see is an automated graph that has been created based on the data that has been fetched in the background. Not just that, we have a couple of features that we have created as well here. Same like dislike buttons, very important. Why? Because this is the place where you can actually give the feedback as a user. Overall feedbacks could be then given, right? And we would be saving this feedback for us to go ahead and check what all things are the users liking, not liking, etc. Different formats of charts. You can actually go ahead and change the charts, etc. You can pin the analysis which you like, refreshed. But the best part is the data insights. Here is the place where you will get that you don't get anywhere in any of the visualization tools. You will get the answers on what happened as well as why did it happen. So this is the highlight of our tool Insights on Demand, because eventually it is giving you the insights of the data, right? Along with that, there are some suggestions which are coming as well. Now, these are, again, all that you see on the screen are generated by GenAI. That means even the questions based on the previous question, the follow-up questions would be asked. You could actually go ahead and just click on them, and it will go ahead and create further analysis for you. And the same kind of exercise could be then moved forward, right? Same way, the analysis would be created, insights would be created, questions could be created. So this is what we had, from the insight perspective as well. One thing to be noted, and that's something which is the best, another highlight. A lot of predictions could be done using this powerful tool as well. And data, multiple connectors, more than 70 plus connectors we have. So practically almost all the data sources could be then connected here as well. So that was all on the data insights on demand side of it.
Thanks, Shama. And just to summarize, very, very powerful tool. To the point that David, spoke about, it is conversational BI, right? You are trying to converse with the data, getting real-time insights back, and then doing click level analysis on top of those insights. And the best part is, everything that gets generated out of this tool, you can integrate it with Teams, Slack, and you can push it out. So distribution of the output of the queries is also very easy.
Yeah.
Michael,
excellent. Thank you very much, Shama. That was fantastic, and I think really the meat of what we were meeting today, along with the insights. Sanjay, we're coming up to the hour, so very briefly, a couple of real life stories of how we've brought this to the table, if you could share, and then we'll sort of wrap up with our takeaways and some brief Q&A. There's a few questions in the audience that we'll try and address. Maybe we run over a few minutes, but thank you all for the patience there. I think that was the most important part of the presentation today.
Sure, Michael. So I'll just take a minute to just mention two of these very successful case studies that we have listed down here. The first one was for a large high-tech manufacturer based out of the US, and that's where it's what we call our Care Ops platform case study. It's where we deployed conversational bots, and the intention was to help the client with L0, L1, L2 support. The best part out of this entire implementation is that this had a bot to agent handover also. So there is, if the bot is able to resolve the query for the customer, then it's great. And the bot has the capability, as I mentioned earlier in CareOps, to query structured, unstructured data to respond back to the customer. And in case the bot is unable to resolve, it will seamlessly hand it over to the agent, where the agent gets the entire history. The agent also gets in all the data that has been pulled in by the bot, and then kind of interacts with the customer. Fantastic amount of benefits that our client got. So increase in first time resolution, improved net promoter score, NPS, and decrease in average handle time. So that's the first case study that we have very successfully deployed for one of our large clients. The second one is for a big pharma client of ours, where we deployed QA360, the tool that Shama demoed just some time back. So this was, again, the problem statement was that this organization had hundreds of agents who were sales agents who were trying to do an outreach to the doctors, and there were call recordings, and they wanted to do a QC on those recordings, figure out whether the agents are following a line of questioning they're supposed to follow. If they are not following, if they're following, where is it that do we have a problem? And once you identify what the problem is, how do you coach back the agents? How do we ensure you figure out the best interaction, the point that Shama talked about, pull out the best interaction, use that as a coaching mechanism back to your agent. Again, very successfully deployed, improvement in CSAT, that was a big function, and 100% coverage from a quality perspective. So that was the second big thing, which the agent, which the customer client got. Sorry, Michael, back to you.
Thank you, Sanjay. So if we move on, I think we're sort of the end of the content, really, and just summarizing and sort of wrapping things up together. I think a very clear and obvious need and value to enhance the customer experience, employee experience, compliance. B, clearly, technology and analytics play a critical part in that, impacting both the top and bottom line. And we've seen numbers of both from David. I think we've got a few coming up that we've seen of how these tools can impact as well. But there's tangible benefits that are here that we bring to the table. But love to briefly maybe give a last word to David, Sanjay. Any other takeaways that you want to share with our audience today?
No, thanks, Michael. I mean, I totally agree. I think that when you look at the priorities for businesses of cost optimization, revenue growth, customer satisfaction, enhancement or improvement, and then the last one around brand reputation, if you actually do analytics right and you're using the data, you can affect all of those in a positive way. You can drive down your costs, you can increase your revenue by giving insights. You obviously improve the customer satisfaction, but also as satisfaction improves, you drive brand loyalty. So as the analytics is a key tool really to achieving at least 4 of those 5 goals that we said organizations are focused on. So I'm glad that's why we did this session today. Really it is a key tool that's going to drive those business objectives. Sanjay?
No, David, completely agree. And Michael, I'm so happy. David talked about what are the key trends that are happening in the CX industry. Where are the areas where innovation is happening? And I think our suite of products is very well aligned and in line with those 5 or 6 key areas. So I think we are on the right track, and we're solving our clients' problems.
Thank you very much, Sanjay. I know we're at the hour. We'll stay on just a couple extra minutes, maybe address a couple of questions that have come through. But for those of you who have to drop off, thank you so much for your participation today. We've really enjoyed it. Want to thank in particular our panelists here, David, as well as Carolina, Sammy, and the whole marketing team who helped pull this together. Shama, you did a great job. I'll get to one or two, three. Let me read through here. Sanjay, what are implementation timelines for QA 360 or Insights on Demand? I know I've been in the process of a few of these and assume it depends on the scale, scope of volumes, etc., ingestion, but can you give the audience some sort of guidance?
No, I think, Michael, you correctly said, it depends on the size, scale, the number of data sets that you have to ingest. But, but we've seen that with these tools that we have, timelines for implementation are really short. We're talking about, few weeks rather than running into months. Something like an Insights on Demand, where you have to connect data sources at the back, you can get something up and running in 2 to 4 weeks. QA 360, where you have to connect with your chat data sources as well as your call library, depending on how much time that the integration takes. Again, something between 4 to 8 weeks is what we've seen in our ability to go live very fast. So I think I would say a sea change compared to what traditional application deployment and go live situations, these ones are fairly fast to get out of the door.
Thank you. And I think the other thing which I've really valued being able to position with a lot of our clients, and I know they value, is really how customized and tailored each of these products, as Shama mentioned as well, right? Because each client is different with different needs, different requirements. There's no cookie cutter here that we can put together, right? And I obviously oversee our existing accounts. You guys should feel very proud. I mean, we've won most innovative partner with a couple of our largest clients, and it's obviously we have a great operational delivery team, but with great technology and tools behind to be able to share those insights. To that point, and are these tools specific for any industries? I know where we've put it, but I think I'd like to get your answer, Sanjay, if it works better for any particular industry or truly industry agnostic.
No, Michael, that I would say they're truly industry agnostic. Where a difference would happen is what is the KPIs you're trying to measure and track. That probably is the only thing that you have to, which might change from an industry to industry. Probably the way a MSO would be looking at vis-a-vis what a bank might be looking at might be slightly different. But as long as it's call center operations, my assumption is they're truly industry agnostic.
Okay. And maybe one last one, if we can, Sanjay. I know we've talked a lot about the CX side, and maybe Shama did touch on a little bit, but we have a critical piece of our business, which is digital marketing. How are we supporting our digital clients as well through analytics? It'd be great to get just the high level, background in terms of how we're supporting our digital clients as well.
No, so I think, Michael, and it gets covered in those 5 points that David mentioned. The CDP part, which is the customer 360 part, that's a big thing for most of our digital clients. That's where most of the clients are doing investment. They want to try to get a 360 view of all the interactions that are happening with the customer, including purchase history, complaints history, and then use that to upsell, cross-sell, run marketing campaigns, do analysis on those email outreaches. So that for us is a big focus area where we're working with our digital clients from a CX perspective.
Sounds good. Well, I think that's really what we had time today for. Again, any other questions we'll get to offline, and hoping enriching discussion today for you all. Thank you again to our speakers and the team who put this together. If any of these topics really resonated and you want to have deeper discussions, please reach out to us, and hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you, team.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.